Hey everybody, it's Bob again with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Supreme, obviously. Volume 2, because I guess Volume 1 was when they did the little introduction in the back of one of the Youngblood issues, I believe. And then they brought out the solo title. So here we go. Now, you'll see here that Rob Liefeld is crediting himself again as the creator, which he is, if you could say that, since this is a character based on Superman. So just another, rip-off. Although everyone's has a fondness for Supreme because later on Alan Moore took over the writing and made it into something awesome. Now, unfortunately, I actually never read any of that. I had given up on Liefeld comics like a long time before that, and it didn't seem to me that there was going to be the possibility of them trying to make quality comics in the future. So I just, when I was younger and this was all first coming out, I was, I was caught up in the hype. So if a new issue of anything came out, I was buying it. I didn't even question it. I figured, hey, the first issue, I'll always try, see if I like it, see if it's interesting, and then I can move on from there. I think actually with this, I ended on issue 2. So I actually picked up a second issue of this, which, I don't know, it's a wild one, but we'll get into that with another video. So right here we have Richard Horry being the technical assistant again, so I guess drawing things like these satellites. So he's the, Liefeld is the inker, but Brian Murray is the penciler. And I think we just talked about in a previous video how Brian Murray had penciled pages in X-Force number 5 that may have been inked by Liefeld. And you're going to see the similarities between that artwork and this artwork as we go through. But here we're just, shooting through space, going towards Earth, and we're getting some, weird dialogue where apparently somebody is inside one of these watch stations or something, and he's like, oh, 230 hours and all is clear, and then 233 and all is, so is he literally going through each minute and alerting them that all is clear? Because I feel like, that would be kind of annoying. He could just let everyone know when there's an issue, which is what takes place. So, they get a bogey on the screen apparently that they believe it might be a warhead until somebody says no, it's coming from off planet, and that it is going to these coordinates or whatever. And then we see a picture of Supreme, which honestly I think it's a good picture. I was a little impressed with Brian Murray's artwork. He's also the colorist on this book, so it's wild to see him color the work that he's drawing. When that happens, I think you tend to get like a different effect or whatever. And to be honest, I kind of like it. You have him burning up on entry here. You see the space is a nice purple or whatever, and the earth, he tried to give it, some textures and stuff like that. This was at the early stages of digital coloring. And then, of course, we just get this like blazing picture of Supreme in space where, so I guess he was burning up through space, maybe, or not going through the atmosphere when he was on fire. So he's just here now, like, yay, I'm Supreme and I'm back. And then we have the shadowy figure in an office, telling someone, go ahead and send them up, okay? If I had to guess, I would say that that's probably Graves, considering that he's saying send them up and that them is Youngblood, okay? And then, of course, just seconds later, we have the second team of Youngblood flying up there. And they're like, we're Youngblood, we represent the United States, and identify yourself, blah, 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 trying to make it sound, official. Like, who are you? Why are you here? Blah, blah, blah. And he says he's Supreme, and a few of the members don't know who that is, and a few of them are like, no, it can't be, blah, blah, blah. And it seems that Sentinel here never heard of Supreme. I find that to be weird, since I would think that Youngblood would be given information about any kind of superpower entities that were from the past, or that anyone knew about, just in case anything ever occurred. But apparently Combat is not believing that this is Supreme. He feels like this is just, some inferior human or whatever. And he immediately attacks. And this is an issue that I have with Youngblood all around, because it just seems like these were supposed to be the best of the best that entered into the Youngblood program. And yet no one ever seems to follow orders. No one ever seems to have any kind of tactical strategy. It is simply, we burst into the scene and everyone does what everyone does. That's it. There's no, somebody tries to be a commander, but nobody ever, listens to that person or anything. They just do what they want to do. So while Sentinel is like, don't do this, Combat's like, fuck you, I'm doing it anyway. Who are you? Okay, so he attacks Supreme, which really doesn't do much. Supreme knocks him across the thing. Die Hard was apparently ready to attack. Die Hard, who, from what I understand, was around 50 years ago and should know who Supreme is. Since, according to this book, Supreme hadn't been seen for 50 years. So Die Hard jumps after Supreme and he just launches him back down to the planet. And then, of course, you have Bedrock starting, I guess, the Hanna-Barbera lawsuit with Yabba Dabba Doom. And going and attacking Supreme, and then, Supreme just quickly moving out of the way. I think that's what that's supposed to represent. And I have to say, again, I like Brian Murray's artwork here. This is good. Like, he's doing some good angles here. He knows anatomy. All of this is really working. And I have to say, even Liefeld inked him pretty well. So that's I like it. I was kind of a fan of this artwork, and I feel like if Brian Murray had continued on, that he could have really perfected a style here. So again, he flies out of the way of Bedrock, and somebody says no. And I think it's because he saw that Sentinel and can't remember his name. Sci-Fire? No, is it Sci-Fire? It's not Sci-Fire. Okay, I can't remember. But they attack or whatever. He gets hit, and I guess he starts flying away. Or he flies around the Earth and comes back and knocks him out, okay? As you can see here with this nice Star Wars type shockwave that comes out of the hit, okay? And here we are, nice picture of him just pretty much decimating everybody until they're like, whoa, 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 we made a mistake. You're obviously too strong and we can't beat you. We never should have attacked in the first place because we have no idea what the hell we're doing. So if you would just allow us to escort you to Earth. And he's just like, okay, let's do it, right? I don't really ever have anything to worry about, so why not, okay? And apparently, maybe it's immediately, like they go to Earth and there's already newspaper printed out there with the most 90s haircut of all time. I love it. Telling you that Supreme is back, and we already have like Evangelist just being apparently super annoyed that there's a super being back again. And he's in here, I guess, with it's Youngblood and the people who command Youngblood. I guess this is high-ranking officials within the U.S. government, right? And talking to Supreme, asking him why he's here and such. They want him to join Youngblood, but he's basically like, no, we're not going to be doing that. Also, they test him and his DNA to see if this is really Supreme. He is, and then everybody's just like, okay, okay. He says, my God, but then he was kind of like, I didn't know who Supreme was to begin with. So maybe he's been, maybe he's done some research since he came back to Earth. But again, they talk to him and they offer him the gig, and he's just like, no, it's not a thing that I'm going to do. Okay. So he speeds off. And again, the government's a little worried that, Supreme is on his own and he's not apparently listening to anyone. And I guess they're afraid of what he's going to do. And so they apparently have a super team put together to take care of Supreme in case that ever happens. So I guess, the man's been gone for 50 years, but they were like, let's keep a contingency just in case. And apparently this is that team. Now, I'm going to say this. I actually always like the design of this dude. This dude is pretty awesome. He looks like an underwater guy to me, but apparently he can fly and stuff. So, I don't know. But he's pretty awesome. I liked him. Okay? And then we just end with Supreme flying around like Christopher Reeve at the end of one of the Superman movies, and he's a little sad at like what's become of the Earth, or how long he's been gone and such. And that's what we get for the first Supreme. Honestly, I didn't think it was the worst story. It's a nice introduction to who he was or whatever. He comes back to Earth, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" And he used to be on Earth, even though we didn't have any of that backstory previously. But again, I don't think it's too bad. I actually liked Brian Murray's artwork. Oh, here we go with Blood Wolf, and then here I think we're going to get the we're getting Infinity by Richard Horry. I felt like Richard Horry had some skill, and that he, just had to develop it. I think if he had continued on, and maybe he did, I don't know. I've only ever seen the stuff that he's done in the 90s, and I know I've seen some other people do videos of him, of some of the comics that he's made. I don't feel like these are bad pictures at all. Like, he knows how to draw a face here. This is just a weird character, some flat top android thing that's faceless. Some things are wonky when it comes to the anatomy, but overall, I don't think it was too bad. And we would get these little backstories of that within these comics. So that was Supreme #1, and I have to be honest, I feel like it was one of the better things that Liefeld did. Again, he's the creator and the writer, but you have this person who does the lettering and things like that. So I don't know. I actually liked Brian Murray's artwork here. So I'm not crapping over this one. This was one that I actually liked. I think that's why I moved on to issue 2. But it's issue 2 that I believe turned me off to the character somehow. So we'll do that in a future video. And again, guys, I'm a comic book artist, and I'm trying to get my name out there. So if you liked this video, please hit like. And if you would like to see more, hit subscribe. I'm working on a comic book right now called Ghost Girl, which I hope to have completed within the next month or 2, at which time I will run a Kickstarter in order to get the funds to print the book in order to sell it. So if you think you might be interested in something like that, hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on any of that information. Okay, guys, until next time.